Okay, so I just finished chapter 11, The Rift, and we got to back up a little bit, because, man, you have no idea what's going on in this book, because 1 second it's this, and then it's there, then it's this, but, okay, let's go through it. So, Dalinar, they found another body, killed the same way Sadeas was, which is interesting. We got a copycat going on in Urithiru. Okay. But Dalinar put Adolin in charge of it, which is hilarious. But Shallan immediately clocked Adolin and was like, why are you being weird? And he's like, no reason. Interested to see how this turns out. And then Renarin says that Radiants aren't supposed to touch the dead blades, the dead shard blades. That's why they hear the screams, but they don't hear it when it's their shard blade. So that's really interesting. So the shard blades that the Spren that formed them were killed or died, those are the ones that are still around and being touched by Radiance that cause them to scream. But when you have like Wendell, Pattern, Syl, when they're turning into shard blades, not screaming because they're still alive. Okay. And then Adolin held Renarin's hand, and it healed his wrist right away, which is cool. Seems like all the Radiants can heal, which is pretty neat. But he saw a perfect version of himself, because I guess Renarin can, like, see the future, or, like, show you the future. That's pretty cool. And then we got another Blackthorn flashback, and Dalinar has Shard Plate now, which he got from just, like, kicking someone off a cliff, which is crazy. So then he Gavilar and Sadeas are going after this other Bright Lord to kind of beat him into submission. And I said it before, but now Dalinar really is Robert Baratheon. He's got a Warhammer and everything, and he's huge, and he's got the shard plate, and he's just like hulking around, taking people out. That was wild. But he mentioned while he was fighting, he's like, this is what life's really about, the momentum, the battle. Me, Gavilar, and Sadeas. This is real life. And I was like, damn, that's actually really sad, because Gavilar's dead now, and that was his brother. And Sadeas was like his pal, who left him to die. Whew. And then it got real dark. Man, you guys weren't kidding. The Blackthorn. Yikes. Like, he's battling this other Bright Lord, and he, like, gets on top of him, and then his men jump at him, and he's able to get away, and Dalinar just, like, kicks down his door. And his son, who's like a little kid, like holds the shard blade up against him, and he's like, we fight monsters. And Dalinar's just like, not this one, you don't. And he killed the Bright Lord and the kid. Ooh, man. Yikes. And then after the battle, he's just like sitting on the edge, and he's got the blade across his lap. And that blade is Oathbringer. And Oathbringer belonged to the Sunmaker. So that's pretty cool, and the fact that the Sunmaker is like, Dalinar is a descendant of the Sunmaker. But it was called Oathbringer when he got it. Interesting, and it's like a really famous shard blade, I guess. But, yeah, he, as monstrous as the Blackthorn is, it seemed like that killing a kid really got to him. And rightfully so, but like, oof, that's rough. So it is kind of crazy that, 3 books in, because I know the new Dalinar, that's my dude. And now you're seeing like, oh man, he was genuinely a monster. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. And the epigraphs. The epigraphs, it said it's from Oathbringer. Because I keep thinking about these epigraphs, because they are very ominous. And they're like a sentence long. But they're from the preface of Oathbringer, the book, in universe. But Oathbringer is a shard blade that used to belong to the Sunmaker, who was the guy who originally, I guess, united everybody or whatever. So, are the epigraphs written by the Sunmaker? I don't know. But this is, stark. Like, Dalinar killed a kid. And probably not the only one either. Like, he's just mowing people down. He was doing that before he had Shard Plate and Shard Blade. Crazy. Anyway, I am loving this book. A few people have talked to me in the comments about it already. And listen, I can already pretty confidently say I feel like this is going to be my favorite book of Stormlight Archive. Because it is so good. and there's so much to it, and so many things are kind of popping off, and I also have so many questions still as to what's going on in like the bigger area. But what a ride this has been already.